Good evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Today we have on Peter. Peter is the lead singer of Fool's Garden. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Thanks a lot for the invitation.
Well,
Um, we
I'm glad
just
I
had
could
a
have
we
you.
just had a weekend trip with the band. We had three concerts in Leipzig, Hof, and in Bebra here in Germany, and the gigs were running very well. And we played a lot of new stuff, old songs from the early '90s, and it's a wonderful weekend.
I follow you on Facebook and it's kind of hard because I don't get the language, all the locations as well because of my English. But I see the photos and the concert pictures and it looks fantastic. Like everyone's having a lot of fun and they're really nice
Yeah,
shows.
we had a lot of fun, and we had also a lot of alcohol in the weekend, so I'm just coming back to life.
That's funny. You're actually from Germany. Your English is really good though. I mean, you speak really good English. Was it hard to translate over into
Thank you
music?
very much. I think I sing better in English than I speak English. Um, maybe I th- I think it comes from the fact that I started listening to English spoken music when I was 12 or 13 years old.
Hmm.
I grew up with English music, with all the lyrics, though I did not understand everything when it's kind of you're a musician
Yep.
on your own. You just listen and can translate it somehow. Um, yes, but thank you very much. My English teacher in the seventh class did not see my talent. She was uh, she was a bit disappointed because I was a very lazy, big lazy bone, and I was not very good at school, even in English.
All right,
But
but
she came up to me when we celebrated our 10th anniversary with the band. She came to me and told me, "Mr. Freudenthaler, your English is so wonderful." And I told her, "Do you remember what you told me when I was in school?" So, but she didn't. But anyway,
okay.
it's a compliment. Thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome. And because honestly, what I heard, like most people, I heard back in the '90s, Lemon Tree, and to the years, and it's I mean, let's say it's a fantastic song. I love songs. To me, the songs are more important than the band than everything. I love a good song, and that song is like the perfect structure of a song. So when I heard it, the lyrics and the melody, like I didn't sound German. It sounded like you were like an English British pop band when I first heard it on the radio. So I was very surprised to know that you're German, and
In the
because
German.
you sang like I never would have guessed it. That was probably the beginning of me going, I can't guess where people come from when they sing because it
Oh,
sounds so
but isn't
floral.
that nice? This is a very nice compliment. And I mean, at least when you sing English as a German band, and everybody
Yeah.
would at once hear that you are German, then we would probably have made something wrong. But yeah, even people in England thought we were an English band, and we took it as the biggest compliment you can
You
get.
should. You should. There's a German band that does Irish music, and I thought they were Irish until I talked to them and they're all German. And I'm like, I am just not knowing anything anymore. Like it's the best. Let me say this. So um obviously anyone that knows you guys from the early '90s was Lemon Tree and it was huge. But you guys have continued on. I've been listening to your albums for all the years, and I want to talk about your newest album too. Your music is so pop. Obviously, it sounds like you get the Beatles, but do you have like the Beach Boys as an influence too? Like your harmonies are so beautiful. Like,
Thank you very much.
like I hear the '60s and '70s harmonies in the music. Is that kind of where somebody's got the influence from in your music?
Yes, I mean, we listen to all this stuff, though we've been too young to for the Beatles. I mean, I was born in 1963. I just turned 60 10 days ago, and somehow it's weird to be already 60 years old. But
Happy
I was
late birthday.
thank you very much, but I'm still too young uh, to have realized what happened in the 60s with the Beatles and with the Stones. But when I was 13 or 14, I discovered all these bands like The Who, like Led Zeppelin, the Eagles, the bands like I mean, we are influenced by so many stuff. And at least it's okay that you can hear the influences. Even some people thought that Lemon Tree was a song from the Beatles. What a big compliment.
I've seen that online. People have actually made videos and called the Beatles, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it is a compliment.
It's the biggest compliment you can get. And yes, we never cared about if anybody can hear the influences we were having on our music, but I think that we somehow created our own style somehow. I don't know how to explain it.
I hear it. I think what's interesting, and to me, like I go deep dives into music, and to me, on the surface, people can go, yeah, that song and the Beatles, it sounds like a Beatles band, because most people either do one song and they move on to the next hit. I mean, what a hit to get known by. But your wealth of your catalog, you have so many great, and there's such pop songs, such soul, and a really melodic band. And I think I hear a lot of harmonies from the 70s that I'm 52, so I heard them growing up. My 10s and my teens, you hear these harmonies, and even go back to the 60s. That's what I hear. I don't really hear as much the Beatles anymore now because I've been a fan for so long. But I hear all these other rich harmonies from these other bands from back then that come into the music. Doesn't sound like it, but it plays into your music. And the music itself is more contemporary. And that's kind of the sound I hear from you guys, newer sounds with a mix.
Yes, but can you tell me, how did you discover our band? Because I know we are not that popular in America. There was an attempt from the record company in the 90s to release Lemon Tree in America, but it was played on some radio stations, but it did not become that huge success everybody expected.
I think I heard it on the radio, and I actually heard you guys do it, and then I got confused with because I know Sting had did a cover of it too. This is interesting because you do cover a Sting song beautifully. You do "Shape of My Heart" beautifully. I love
you heard it. Oh, thank you very much.
People go out and listen to it on YouTube. Beautiful.
I love this song. It's a wonderful, wonderful song.
Well, you do a great job too. You do the same good job that he does to your song. So it's such a great crossover between the two of you. And it had confused me because I'd heard your version and then I heard it again like at a different time, and you hear it like on radio, and then like with the internet and streaming, you don't always hear who the artist is or who wrote the song. You just kind of hear it. And I'm kind of an album guy. But when I heard it, I didn't put two and two together. I knew the song and I heard it again. I go, oh, that was Sting? I heard it years ago. And then I'm like, I don't think it was Sting. And I went and looked up the song itself. And I said, oh, this isn't Sting. And I went back to the original, which I love. Because the original, the orchestration in it, like the horn sounding, like the really barren sound, and that just the melody is what makes it the perfect song. Like you could have done it to change it. I know there's an interview once where they're talking about how they wanted to put more behind the song to poof it up. I think it's perfect. I think this is what makes the perfect song. The way you guys did it, that very I don't know, it's like a bare bones, but it's just the right amount. Like it's not overdone. It's perfect. But that's how I fell in love with you guys that way. And then from there, if I like an artist, I listen to all their music. So I listened to that album. That was your third album.
Okay.
And then I went back and listened to the other two, the first two. And then I've been a fan ever since. And I've been excited. And that's what I want to talk about actually and get people excited about is your new stuff, is the Captain Coast is Clear. It's a great album. And
thank you very much.
It's just as good as the old stuff. And you guys have always been good, but for people that aren't to just the hit singles, I'm telling people right now, it's just as good. You guys
Thank
have
you very
continued
much.
to. You're welcome. Can we talk about this album, your newest album, a little bit? Putting it together.
As you like, ask me ask whatever you want. But tell me, which version of "Shape of My Heart" did you hear? The one when I played with Nadia Kosinskaya with this blonde lady? Yes, she's a wonderful
Great.
guitar.
Oh my God. that's my next thing to check out. I came across that with you, and then like I have to check her out now deeper because I was like, what a fantastic guitar player. And obviously,
Yeah.
I like guitars, but I was like, but listening to your voice and to that song, I was like, because it's such a good song to begin with, and what you do to it is so good. Yeah, that's one I heard. Is there
Thank
more out
you
there?
very much. And now stop making compliments.
I'll insult you a few times and bring you back down a little bit if you need to be get out of control.
Hmm.
But so let's talk about so your newest album, people don't know, is Captain the Coast is Clear, and it came out of like 2021, past year or two. It's been out, but with COVID, you know, touring and
Yeah, we
stuff
had a
has been
lot
a little
of
bit
time.
harder.
We had a lot of time uh, to try things in the studio and to work more with synthesizers than in the past. So, and Volker, by the way, so he's a he can be a nerd when he sits in front of the synthesizer. So he's very, very musically and uh,
You guys are a
for
good
me
team.
one of,
You guys,
one of the best producers I know. Hmm.
it's great. It's funny because like the Endless Sea is great, but Electrify really does feel like it's a more of a dancier song for you guys, a little bit different. I like that. Was that a little on purpose, or is that just evolved? The Electrify single.
Yeah, it was a kind of everybody has been surprised because nobody would have expected a song like Electrify from a band like Fool's Garden. A lot of people only know the Lemon Tree and the Wild Days and all this
Yep,
this funny stuff.
Susie and Rain. Rain, those are
Uh,
good songs. But
yeah, thank you, thank you. But life is so colorful, and why we came up with this band name Fool's Garden in the very beginning. We thought, oh my God, we have so many ideas, but we do not want to go just in one direction. We want to try everything out, and so the name Fool's Garden fits best to that what we do. I always was an admirer of bands like Queen or Yes and the Beatles because they
yeah,
also tried out everything, and we said we take the song or we take the idea, put it in the middle, and then we give the idea the food that it needs. uh, if it is synthesizer, if it's more guitar or whatever. And so it's possible that songs like Electrify um, come up, or songs like Susie or Lemon Tree.
it
It
was
can happen. What?
it was a great surprise. That was a fun little like I was like, oh, that was great. You know what I mean? It was a great turn. It was funny is actually on listening to you guys on iTunes, like when they go through the cycles through the songs, if they don't change it in time, you're actually recommended like Queen actually comes up in the same cycle of groups. Like that's where you guys are located now. So there's a compliment right
Mm.
there for you. So you being influenced by Queen, you're now actually in the cycle. If I'm listening to you guys, your album comes up, like Queen will come up now. So it's kind of neat that it's the same influence for people now. Uh,
Mm.
but you had a couple singles off this one already. You did some with Out of Love, which is really fun. The process of this
Yeah,
album, did you write the yeah?
unfortunately, it was not played so well on the radio here in Germany. But we are still sure that this song is a hit, and it would be a nice experiment if you tried in America with that song and call me in
Yeah.
a couple of weeks. Hey, Peter, what a surprise! Your song made made a big
It's
jump.
yeah, I'll put it on my social media for people to check out. I think, it's what is a hit and what isn't a hit. I think there's no way of knowing because the same song can be a hit and not a hit. You know what I mean? Got to do with the song. It has to do with the people now. It has to do with what mood everybody's in collectively, like what's cool at the moment or what's not cool. You know what I mean? It doesn't change it. I
Mm.
mean, how many songs are remade and they're hits again and again? You know what I mean? And it's not original. It's because it's the collective. But to me, "Out of Love" is a fun song. It's a good song. I think it could be a hit single. I think radio's kind of weird. Radio's really weird right now for bands.
Yeah, I
You know?
think I think radio even had its days. You know what I mean?
Oh, it did. It's crazy because radio leans on shows that are like podcasts, whereas I'm on YouTube and I'm also on the podcast. But some of my news, I have radio stations now taking some of my show's quotes and news and putting it on
Hmm.
their shows now. They'll take clips of my show, the podcast, and put it on their radio shows. It's
Yeah.
really turned around a lot because the dynamic of radio is not the same as it used to be, and the power is not the same,
Oh,
you know.
I mean, I see it. I have three children. I have two girls, 27 and 25, and my boy is 19 years old. They do not listen to the radio anymore. Just in the morning when my boy drives to his working place, he
Yeah,
listens to the radio. But the rest is just Spotify,
yeah,
Spotify, Spotify, Spotify. And
same thing. It's different. It's a
I mean,
different world. I have records at my house too. We do records. I have a 19-year-old, a 21-year-old, and 23-year-old, and I got them playing records at least, so they know what records are,
hmm.
you know. But it's a different world. How long did it take you guys to create this newest album? The process of it, was it created all during COVID?
Oh, I think we had about 3 years time. Sorry,
No problem.
my
Well,
phone.
because your last album came out in 2018, which was a good album too. And this was
Yeah,
so yeah, it was 3 years date to date official release on, you know, documented media, but the time length between it though, um, I almost feel like the 2018 one should have gotten a little bit more popular too because that was another strong album. It feels like you were like caught between COVID with two good albums, you know?
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there was no possibility to
No.
do anything like we were used to do things before. So we had a lot of time in the studio, but we also had a lot of time for other things like I was wandering, for example, and visiting my daughter in Greece. And let's say we took our time. We had no hurry finishing the album. We just enjoyed and we let things grow. And the result was the Captain Coast is Clear.
Which
Maybe
is
that's also because it's a very quiet album. We have uh, a lot of melancholic, I think even more melancholic songs on it than we had before.
You think so? I think what I hear
Don't you
from it
think?
because I've been listening to a lot of albums because let's face it, COVID, a lot of artists stopped touring and they all had time to do these time with their family, introspective albums, and really got a lot of time to think about this because there was sadness and all kinds of things going on. I hear a lot of positiveness from this album. Like I wouldn't have this album doesn't feel like dated. Like some albums came out are like, it was from COVID. Like you go back in 10 years ago, that was the COVID
Hmm.
album.
Yeah.
This does not, you know what I'm saying? Like, but this does not have titles where you feel like it's the COVID album. I mean, you have to think of Highest Mountain, Here in Your Arms. These are titles beautiful. These are not titles of a sad block of time. You know what I mean? There is some positivity in
Yeah.
this album. It feels kind of melancholy is good, but it's not a bad melancholy. It feels kind of nice,
No, I
upbeat.
don't think that it's a negative that it's negative, but it's melancholic in a positive way. Um, it's not sad. I mean, there is one very sad song on it. There are so many songs in between. Oh, but isn't it too dark? There are so many songs in between in our timeline that I really do not remember every title from every album. I have to look on it. So yeah, the song "Those We Lost at Sea"
Yes.
is a
Track
very
13.
very track 13. Yes. Um, I was going to Greece by boat in the Mediterranean Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And there were news that in between more than 20,000 people died in the sea by trying to escape from Syria or from wherever in Africa. And there was this photo which went around the world with a young boy, with a 4-year-old boy who was uh, lying on the beach, dead, and this man carried him away. This was such a terrible picture, and I was so moved by that. And then we said we have to make a song about
That's
that, the dying in the Mediterranean Sea, where other people are sitting on a cruise ship and having cocktails, and this is kind of weird.
Well, it's interesting because it's fun. It adds to the layer of that album because, like I said, we weren't expecting Electrify, and you weren't expecting that song at the end. There's a lot of
Mm,
different personality on this album.
it is, yes.
It's got a little something for everybody. Is there a favorite song you have? Is that your favorite song, or do you have another favorite, personal
Oh,
favorite that
my
you like
favorite song, my
on this
favorite
album?
song is Home Again.
Okay, it's a good, yeah, it's a good song. I mean, I like them all, but that is a good. I think
Do you have a favorite song on this
I
album?
I'll be honest with you, it's between Ice Mountain or Out of Love are my favorite today.
Okay.
Beautiful was my favorite at first, and I still love it, but I go back and forth. When you listen to an album, you have a new favorite every now and then. So I'm between Ice Mountain and Out of Love today.
Okay, great. The same for me. It changes from day to day, and
How do you write your songs? Are you collectively like doing your part, and then everyone kind of writes their parts? You throw them out, you jam it out, and then like, what's the process?
Volker and I, we have a kind of gentleman agreement from the very beginning in 1991. We said, no matter who made more for the song, if it was his idea or my idea, we make this Lennon-McCartney
Best deal ever.
agreement.
Best deal ever.
Yeah,
That's how you
and
keep a
this is
band.
it works for more than 30 years now. And once he comes up with an idea where he has no melody, for example, just a guitar
Mhm.
riff, then I find a melody, then I write the lyrics for it, and so really it's so different. Sometimes we have like in the Principal Thing album, we have just a line like go and ask Peggy for the Principal Thing, which sounded somehow great, and then we thought we have to make a song out of it.
You have some great titles.
It's
You do have some
totally
great titles.
totally different from song to song.
I love the relationship you guys have together as a team. Even your interviews, you guys are so funny together. It's really a great. You can see the structure of your relationship, how you guys work together. It's very respectful, but it's lighthearted, which shows like it makes sense why you guys have been writing songs together so long. You know,
Mm.
it's like a relationship that you are each other's strength.
It's a it's a wonderful gift, and we both know to how you say in English, schätzen. We both are aware of that fact, and we yeah, it's a wonderful gift, and we are not only working in the studio, we are also still friends, and we have a wonderful that's what I realized again last weekend. It's always a wonderful travel party. I mean, we are all between 50 and 60 years old, but it's always like a how you say Schulausflug when
Like school
you
kids. Yeah,
yeah when you go abroad with your class and
yeah. Like a field
not
trip. Some kind of yeah.
yeah it's still wonderful, and I'm very pleased about that.
I think that's great. I think it shows, and I think that's why like some bands don't make it. They have one good hit, but it's like they did fight over the song or whatever. Whereas you guys have always stayed consistent. The albums are good. You guys work together. It's happy. It's healthy. I mean, you guys would have lasted if not. Any chance? Like, how are you guys going to work this album now? Now that there's more touring available and or videos, and you guys have a lot of videos out.
Mm.
I want people to check out your media. You got a lot of great videos for your album on your YouTube page. I'll put the link underneath this show for people. Um, what's the future to promote this album? More shows, more what?
I mean, we could not play so much last year, and meanwhile the COVID thing, so that we really want to go out again and play concerts, and I think we will do a lot of live activities during this year, and next year we have a big festival because we turn 33. We once wanted celebrate our 30th birthday, but it was not possible because of COVID. So we said we will celebrate our 33rd birthday. Also fits good to the Fool's Garden, this
Yeah.
foolish number 33, and there will be a lot of work to do because we will. I don't know. Did you follow our our Instagram live stuff last year? No, 2 years ago.
I went back, I saw
We
some
made
of the stuff that was on there, but I wasn't catching it live at the time. There's just so much going
okay,
on. Yeah.
and it was we had a lot of friends invited, and even our friend from Eric Basilian from the Hooters took part in
I love Eric.
this. This was very, 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 very nice. And we want to bring this Instagram live
Yeah.
festival on a real stage in
That'd be great. That would be
2024.
really good. Eric's been on the show twice. He's been great too with his COVID album. He had his new album out too. A lot of good music came out from you guys. You
Yeah,
know.
that's
Um,
true.
any chance with you playing any shows coming over to the USA at all?
Unfortunately, we've never been booked to America. And I also do not know how many people would come to a concert if we would
Right.
play in the States. But I really would love. One of my biggest dreams is still, I don't know if you may speak about it, talk
Yeah.
about it. I would
Yeah.
like to play just once in the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
everyone's
this is
dream.
a crazy idea, but you only the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world, they do. I think it's a citat from Steve Jobs. I'm not sure.
I'm not
There
sure.
was an Apple advertisement a couple of years ago, and there was this sentence: only the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world, they do.
Well,
I
I don't think
don't
there's anything.
want to change the world, but I really would love to play at least one song maybe in the Madison Square Garden.
I don't see how you couldn't. And I tell people that are watching that haven't seen my show before, it's hard for a band to come over because visas are $4,000 or $5,000 at least, and it's expensive for a band to come over here without any kind of guaranteed of a big tour. Is which that's not what some
Hmm.
bands don't come over because they don't want to come over. It's because it's about money and it's very expensive for a foreign band to come over and it costs taxes. So anybody
Yeah.
out there that wants to put a tour together, Fool's Garden, need to come over. You need to get them on your tour and get them over here so they can play to some of the U.S. fans that haven't had that chance yet. You know, it would be
Would
it'd
be
be very
great.
special.
So whenever you have an idea, let's stay in contact and
Yeah,
take us to the States.
I'd love that. There are plenty of tours out there that should grab onto you and make it equitable enough to get you guys over here. I don't see why
Hmm.
you guys couldn't play it. I mean, I think you guys do have a good fan base over here. It's now just about organizing people after COVID as the shows start to build up again. You know, it's weird in the
Okay.
U.S. The Some places are packing up and some places are still a little hesitant. You know what I mean? I think over the next year things are going to get much fuller in the concerts. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? That's going to be the thing.
Yeah. And another thing is I think it was my second time when I've been to the States. I had an invitation to the CMA Awards in
Yeah,
Nashville, and there was yes, and I was in this live show, and I was totally so deeply impressed because everybody was playing live in this show.
mhm.
It took about 2 or 3 hours. There was Willie Nelson was there, Shania Twain, Kid Rock, Gretchen Wilson, all these country
Yeah,
musicians we do not know here in Germany, like um, Brad Paisley with a Whiskey Lullaby, and everybody played live. It was we say unfucking fassbar.
yeah.
I never saw something like that in Germany, and that was a moment when I thought, okay, the Americans do not need musicians from abroad.
Sure
Um,
they do.
this is really a very, very, very high level. And the next day, I was invited to a newcomers afternoon in a, I don't remember the pub, but really every newcomer, they had perfect songs. They had skills with guitar or on the piano. I thought, no, they do not need us in America. They have so many good musicians, and even the people, the musicians that play in the streets. This is a very, very high level.
Well, it is nice. We do have a lot of good people here, and it's funny. And as you say, CMAs, Nashville has become the biggest epicenter now for musicians. It
Mm,
used to be like New York and LA. Everyone's moving to Nashville now. All the studios are there. A lot of the
mm.
rock and roll musicians and producers are all in Nashville now.
Where are
It's
you
all
based?
changed. I'm in New England. I'm in New
Ah,
England up
okay,
near. I'm between Boston and New York for
okay.
perspective. But down in Nashville, it's like all the musicians that you used to hear about, the rockers and the big names, all down in Nashville now.
Hmm.
It's a
No,
new place now. Yeah.
it was a great
So
experience. It was in I think 2006, 2007, around that, 15 years ago already.
maybe you got to write a song with a country singer, do a duet. You know.
Would be nice. Yeah, I'm. My children are old enough now. I'm free again. I can do what I want. And I really, in that time, I really fell in love with this song, "Whiskey Lullaby."
Yep.
You know this song, huh?
Oh
Don't
yeah, I do.
you?
Yep. Yep. Good guitar, and it's actually become a staple for a lot of guitar players. It's like one of those songs
Ah,
now. It's like I don't know, like Purple Haze used to be, or you know what I'm saying? Generationally, Whiskey River is now one of those songs, like iconic in its own thing. Like if you go on YouTube, everyone's covering it. It's like a song you learn.
mhm.
It's a good song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like Lemon Tree. You go on YouTube, you type in Lemon Tree, you're gonna be lost. It's a rabbit hole. Everyone covers that song. It's a good song.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Does it still blow your mind away that after all these years, you still can be a musician? How fantastic it is to be able to just write songs.
This is the greatest gift of all, because I mean we all started not with the intention to make big money, or for sure when I was 13 or 14 I was dreaming to become a pop star, but it was so far away, and then I was already 32 when all that happened, that the band
Yeah.
became popular. But this was never the intention. When I look back now, then I must say, oh, I'm so gifted, but about what I'm allowed to do. I can get up in the morning and write a song, or
Mhm.
uh, make a walk, or make food for my children, or whatever. I'm free. And this is a wonderful, yeah, it's the most wonderful gift you can imagine.
I think becoming a musician is a talent and partially luck, you know. And you have the talent and you were in a great position, you know. So the talent got shown, you know. In America there's so much talent, you know. People are doing the
Yeah,
same thing. You had something different to offer than anybody else. Your band did at the time. And you have your own little spot now. You earned your own corner on the street, as they would say, of what you do, which is fantastic. That's your career. It's your brand. Um, as a fan, it makes me happy to see you guys
yes,
keep
and
continuing.
the most important thing for me is that I am able to be, my profession is Peter Freudenthaler. I can be myself in what I do. I do not have to make uh, to deal with anybody. Can I do that? Can I do this? Just with Volker, but we are always on a good line, and always find a solution for every challenge. And yes, this is wonderful.
I want to thank you for coming on. This is fantastic. I want people to support you. Go to your website. Uh, just so people know, it's also in English. If you click on the wrong button, go up on the right hand side. Both languages are there, so you can see it in English. Um, you can check out all their music there. iTunes, Spotify. You have a YouTube page, Instagram. Uh, all the links will be underneath the show, so go click on it and support them there. Check out the music, check out the new album and support it. If you're nearby where they are, you can see them play live. I recommend them. Someday, hopefully, I will be able to. But in the meantime, support them the best you can through social media and streaming and buying physical product if you can, because there is some on the website. That's what I have to say. Do you have anything you want to say to anybody as we end this? Wrap it up.
No, thank you very much, and for inviting me to your show.
I want to thank you very much, and people.